Hey everyone, this is Jen. I hope everybody's good. I'm here with an energy update on this March blue moon. It is a full moon and it is the second one of the month. That's why we call it the blue moon. The energies are intense, they have been intense, and they will remain intense for a little bit because there are many things happening, not only the full moon, but a few retrogrades and this and that. And it is creating a very intense, perhaps hostile energy situation. Just know that behind all of that is, for some people, a test to see how strong they are in their truth, how strong they are in their own powers and their own truth. And it's just for us to be tested to see, is this really what I want? Is this really what I'm able to do? And not only what I'm able to do, but what my ego thinks I'm able to do, but what my heart is able to do. These current energies, this full moon especially, is going to wipe out so many things. Another piece of the veil, another piece of energetic junk. And it hurts. Sometimes it feels like something has died or something is dying. And it is. It's part of the old you. We need to allow it. We release on a cellular level. Sorry, I can't say that word. We release on a very extremely deep level to heal ourselves, to become authentic, and to receive new energies. If we don't do that, and if we don't allow this to happen, we cannot receive new energies. That's what spiritual ascension is all about. And it doesn't really end. I know that may be surprising, but we're kind of like never done ascending, because when you are done or in that permanent state, you kind of die. You kind of are done with this earth life. So nobody can have the pretension to say that they're done awakening. We are never done. Life moves on, goes on, energies move on and go on. And it's exactly, I've mentioned this before, it's exactly like a river. The water never stops. It keeps on running. And same thing for our evolution, our spiritual awakenings, our spiritual ascension. Just know at this point that there is always more. There's always more to learn. There's always more to expand on. Our job is to understand it. Our job is to allow it to show up in our lives and to present us with what's best for us. Sometimes we get into that tricky mind game that we think we know what's best, but in fact, we really don't. So when we allow our minds and our ego to just be the passenger or the co-driver, co-pilot, and allow our hearts to be the drivers and the creators, it's easier to understand what is for our highest good. And that's nobody's fault. We, as a society, that's where we're at. That's where we're at. We've been programmed for decades into thinking that our minds are the ones who get to decide. And it couldn't be further from the truth. The heart does. So releasing those programs is something really hard to do, especially if we were born in families where our parents would take, everything head first. It could be harder. So that brings me to say just a little thing about the twin flames, and I'm referring to both here, divine masculine, divine feminine, whoever seems to be running. Know that they're not really running, they're just healing themselves. They're realizing all these truths about themselves. They are releasing all these programs that they need to release. They are seeing things very differently. And it doesn't have to be exactly the way you see them. It doesn't have to be the same way that you saw them when you first started awakening. No. This journey, the twin flame journey, is the hardest of all. Hardest. Like a lot of people will say it destroyed my life. It's, yeah. I kind of agree with that. And no, I'm not, by the way, I'm just, feeling this very intensely. I wouldn't go as far as saying that the twin flame energy destroyed my life, but it did take me on a path that I never expected. I kind of always knew that I had this person that was exactly like me, like my perfect match. I always known that since I was a kid, but I never expected it to be on such a deep level and on so many levels. Because, and I've never found anyone talking about this, but mind you, I'm not always watching YouTube channels, so I'm talking about my own experience, about what I know, and I do not claim to know the entire truth, okay? On the twin flame journey, when you meet your twin flame, or the day you realize that you are on a twin flame journey, you start that releasing process, that healing process of letting go of your limitations, limited thought patterns, programming, this and that. And it could be like a grocery list if we get into it. It all depends on what kind of life you've been through, what kind of education you had from your parents, from society, this and that. And then once you've done a major part of this current life, you have to go through past lives for your own. And then when you reach a state of balance, of where you think that you're pretty much in balance, guess what? You're still not done. You're still not done. It's just like catching a little break there. Just, a little moment of, oh, I'm going to, be able to take a few deep breaths here. And then you're going to start feeling your twin going through this, because you're awakened, and the more you awakened, the more sensitive you get. So you start feeling on higher levels. You're going to start feeling your twin doing that. So it's going to feel like you're starting all over again. Trust me, I've been in this for quite a while now. And I'm not saying it's going to be everyone's experience. That's not what I'm saying at all. I'm just saying it's part of my own, and I know other people are like that too. If you wonder why things are not moving forward, it's just because your twin hasn't been awakening, or just taking, slower. And that's fine. You cannot make them go faster. You cannot make them do things that they're not ready to do. This is all orchestrated by higher energies, the divine, whatever you want to call it, the universe. We don't get to control. We don't get to decide. And there's a lesson for both twins in each situation. So when you start feeling your twin going through this, what it's going to feel like for you most probably is a dark night of the soul, until all things are cleared. Depending on what kind of person you are, of course. If you are the very physical person that feels everything, you may feel it a bit deeper than other people. And it's not as easy as doing a meditation and saying, okay, I'm done with this, I'm cleared. Yes, that's part of it, but there's more to it than that. At the end of the day, we're humans in human bodies, in physical bodies, with a free will, an ego, and all of this stuff needs to be aligned and purified and cleansed out. So it does take time. Nobody's perfect. Nobody's perfect, and it never really ends. Like I said at the beginning of the video, it never really ends. So to make it easier on you and to choose the path of least resistance, just accepting that it never really ends is the first thing to do. Accepting it is a form of letting go. When we say go with the flow, it's accepting that it is what it is for now. And that's it. You cannot change it. You cannot make the time go faster. You can only control yourself or master yourself. That's a word I prefer. You can only master yourself. You're the only person who can do anything about it. Not your twin, not a reader, not a healer. Of course, there are healing modalities that will help you move some blocks or energies to help you see things differently. But at the end of the day, we are in a physical world with physical limitations. The energies are supporting us, but there is no magical recipe, or we're not living in a movie or in a book. These energies are there, but the work needs to be done. Otherwise, these energies are not able to do what they're meant to be doing. That may seem like a little bit of tough love, and it's not how I mean it really. It's just some form of a reality check that I got today, and that I've been getting for quite a while. We can't expect miracles to happen and things to happen if we don't do our share. Help yourself first. Accept that it's never going to be ending. It's just going to get easier because you're going to know yourself better. You're going to master yourself better. It's as if, and I know I was guilty of that before. It's as if we are programmed to think that, it's all going to click and it's going to, I'll be able to sit on it or just enjoy the ride. Yes, but it still involves work. Just like we have to maintain our bodies and eat every day and drink and eat quality food and drink water, we have spiritual work to do, and we will always have spiritual work to do because life happens, because we come in contact with people, because karma happens, because we need to forgive, because we need to forget and move on, because we need to look at ourselves in the mirror and keep on working. That's part of the game. So don't hate the game. That's how it is. These energies right now are all over the place, so there is no way for me to describe them properly at this time, so I won't. I'm just saying that they are extremely intense, and there's this cleansing energy underneath it all, bringing to the surface what may look like karmic issues or contracts or whatever, however you want to call it, will bring up to the surface the truth, the absolute truth. So for people who have been wearing masks and refusing to take them off, this is it. This is it. The energies are going to take care of it. It's going to be exposed. Perhaps this week you've been into situations that made no sense at all. We are currently having problems in communication. So be clean with the words that you use and the intentions that you're using. Extremely important at this time. Communication is a big problem. It will remain like this probably at the end of Mercury retrograde on April 15th. It can feel at times where you're in the same conversation with someone, but it feels like you're speaking two different languages. Or just one pulling in one direction and the other one pulling in the other direction and not understanding each other at all. And that's draining. That's exhausting because it takes a lot of energy to do that. So of course, rest. Try to do your best not to get triggered into those situations and remain calm. Do what you need to do for yourself. If it's something you need to do for work, well, be patient and go through it. You can do it. Yes, you can. If you don't have to be in those conversations, well, just don't and go rest instead. It's going to last for a little bit. It's part of the chaos that comes with the cleansing. And it's part of consciousness rising on a mass scale and rising to the next level. That's just how it is. And all twins and everyone on earth is affected by that. And for twin flames, what it means is that everybody is like being leveled up to the next phase, next level. If you are really connected with your twin, you might be feeling it. They have been working very hard on themselves, on understanding, on awakening. They've been awakening. A lot of them have been receiving activations, twin flame activations. Even for the ones who didn't believe in that concept, perhaps a few months ago, a few years ago, now there is no way for them to deny it. They know it. They've been activated. And they're like, oh my God, okay. It is true what she or he was saying to me. It is true. I now feel it. I now understand it. And they are moving forward with their own education on the subject. And don't be surprised if it's not in the same way as you did. Some people do not resonate with psychic readings or cards reading. I like cards. I'm not big on card readings. So, and a lot of people are like that, and that's just fine. It's just okay. There's no one way for us all. We each have our own individual way of growing and expanding and finding our path and our truth. So just allow that to happen. Don't go in the mind trap of thinking, this is how it happened for me, therefore it needs to happen this way for the twin or for everyone. No, everyone has a different path with different lessons to learn and karma to balance out. Therefore, everyone's path is extremely different. We cannot compare one to another. So at this point, April, I have no idea what it's going to look like. All I know is that it's moving forward. And spring is here. The equinox just passed. It's a really good time to just do some spring cleaning. And I'm not talking about in the house, but on all levels. To allow these changes to live inside of us. To allow these changes to take manifestation into our lives. That's the only way to do it. It starts on an energy level, on a quantum level, and then it works its way down to the physical until it is manifested physically. From the moment that you start feeling it, that means that the energies are starting to reach you at that point. And at that point, you are in a state of duality because you still feel the old energy and you feel the new one coming in. And if you're very sensitive, it can be very annoying because it feels like you're separated in two. It feels like there's a struggle somehow inside of you. You need to be still and just allow it to settle in or move through you until it has reached a state of balance. Some people are very conscious of this, are very aware of this. They know exactly what's happening every day. Some people are a little bit less aware, and that's fine. Each way of being has its own positive sides and negative sides to it. Being sensitive is great, but when you feel all of that and you have to go through life and work and this and that, it's not always easy. And on the other hand, if you're not that much sensitive yet and you don't know what's going on, it could be nerve-wracking. It could create a lot of anxiety. It could create a lot of nervousness and not understanding. Just take this opportunity to ask the question, what is the situation trying to show me? What is my anxiety trying to show me? What is the higher part of myself trying to teach me, trying to make me see how can I align everything together. And the only question to that is by going inside. There is no other way around. And by going inside, it doesn't necessarily mean sitting down in the meditation position. It could be, for example, going in the woods and taking a walk, jogging, riding your bike. It doesn't matter. As long as you connect to yourself and you don't allow those negative emotions too much power. I say too much power because you need to give them a little bit of power so that you don't deny them or deflect them or pretend that they're not there. Just enough power so that you can, I'm tempted to say talk with them, but that may sound strange for some people, but others, I know that it will resonate. As if you wanted to talk to them and hear out what they have to say. Hear what they are trying to show you so that you can release it. If that doesn't work for you, sit in silence. If that doesn't work, keep yourself busy until you have this epiphany moment of, this aha moment of, oh, I'm getting it now. I see what it is. I see what this anxiety is trying to teach me. There's always a reason behind it. It's either coming from your twin or from you. And if it's coming from your twin flame, what you need to do is not resist it, but send love and acceptance. It means that there's work going on the other side of your connection. So embrace it. Be grateful for it. Sure, it's uncomfortable. It is uncomfortable to feel all these negative emotions that are not yours. Trust me, I know. But what else can we do? We're not going to go off and take meds. No, well, I've always refused. We're not going to go off and pretend that it's not there, because that's not going to help you. Since we're all one, think about this. We are all one. Think about the effect it has on your twin flame connection. If your twin is struggling or working super hard and is tired because they're releasing a lot, they're changing a lot, and they're integrating a lot. Imagine if you were to go run in the opposite direction or start doing whatever you please. That wouldn't be so great. I'm not saying that you need to wait for your twin. That's not what I'm saying at all. The lesson here is that you need to send love, not resistance, not negative emotions back, just love. Think to yourself, I'm proud of you, my twin, for the work that you're doing. Thank you. I appreciate that. I love you, Whatever works for you. I was going to say whatever rocks your boat. If it's journaling, well, go ahead and write in your journal. If it's singing or dancing, go ahead and dance. As long as it is a good high vibration, we're good. That's the whole point of it, is to stay in a high vibration, even if part of you has to fake it a little bit. Fake it until you make it, they say. Even if you have to program yourself to feel it. That's the whole point. That's changing and it's hard. So all you have to say is be in a grateful state and think, my twin is working hard and I'm really happy that my twin is doing so. I'm really happy that she or he is awakening to the next layer, to the next level. And because you did it first, it is easier on them and it is easier on all other twins, because that energy has been cleared from the collective consciousness on a quantum level. We are all one. So if you resist, you have a negative effect on everyone else, as a matter of fact. And we do not want that at all. If we were all a bit more aware of our own inner state, inner state of vibration, our thoughts, our feelings, and keep them in check. And I'm not saying control your emotions, because that's impossible to do. An emotion can only be felt. Felt. Not controlled by the mind. So if we were just a bit more aware of what's going on inside of us, and that when we don't understand something, all we need to do is put us aside for a little bit until the answer comes. There is no way to speed this up. There is no magical recipe for you to get the answer. You can sit down and meditate and ask. It's possible that you receive it right away. It's also possible that you don't, and that it comes weeks later, even months later, and sometimes years later. Our spiritual teams, they know when we're ready to know something. They know when it's time to deliver something, and they will. So therefore, if we do not understand a certain situation or why we are feeling this way, the best thing to do is to leave it aside. Like, as if, I don't know why I keep seeing a bag, as if you were going outside to put your recycling in the bin, for example. And let's say it's too heavy. What are you going to do? You're going to put it on the side, split it in two, and make 2 trips to the recycling bin, perhaps. Or you're going to put it aside and pick it up later and bring it to that recycling bin, right? Same thing for emotions. Same thing for answers. Same thing for thought patterns or any kind of healing modalities or activities that we are trying to do. For my part, I'm just going to give a quick example. It took me years to master past life regressions. I studied it for years before I understood how to do it by myself and very quickly without the help of a therapist. Why? I don't know. It doesn't matter. What matters is that now I know. And I'd like to think that it's just that I wasn't ready to do it on my own when I thought I was. And that's fine. I don't need to be questioning that. Now I know. That's what matters. So, and that's what being in the now means also, because when you start asking yourself questions, why this? Why that? Why not this? Why not that? You're not fully in the now. Part of you is in the future, and part of you is in the past at the same time. At the same time, that's a crazy thing. At the same time. So what happens on a soul level is that you're experiencing soul fragmentation. You're splitting yourself in different ways, different soul parts are going in different directions, and it creates conflict inside. And that can happen. I really wasn't planning on talking about this, but it's coming up, I guess. So let's go with it. It can happen on many different levels, and that's the basis of healing. That's the basis of past life regressions or even recent event in your life. Whenever you are in a situation when you get really, really hurt, part of your soul, part of your energy gets stuck there because of the trauma. It stays there. To heal completely is to heal that situation and to recall that part of your soul back and to recall your energy back. And sometimes it's really hard to do because it could be a situation where other people are involved and where karma is involved. And until that karma is resolved, it's kind of impossible to retrieve your soul back completely. It's only until the karma is resolved that you will be able to retrieve your soul back. And I'm not saying this to scare anyone. This is how healing works. This is how past life regressions work. You go in the past, you relive an event, you change it, you heal it, you release it, and then you regain your energy back and your soul back. There's no big secret to this. To me, it's really simple. But it is something to experience to fully understand what it is. For some people, it's just going to be about seeing the event and feeling it and releasing that energy. That energy is stuck on us in our cells. Yeah, I did want to say the word cellular level. I can't say it. Sorry. It's stuck in our cells. It cannot be undone by the mind. It cannot be undone by wishful thinking of I'm healing and I'm healing on all level. Sure, that works and it has positive effects, but it won't do any good for your cells. So that's the basis of healing and soul fragmentation. Even let's take a recent event in this lifetime. I had one happen to me a little over a year ago. Very traumatic event. Very. On all levels. Physical first, emotional, and then the stress that came with it, the stress that I had to go through financially, physically, created that a situation where part of my soul got stuck there. And that's when or where our thought patterns, you know, when we have those loops and it gets stuck in our mind, that's because a part of our soul is stuck in that situation. That's the result. The looping thoughts are the result of the soul fragmentation. That's what us healers do. We are able to recognize these patterns and tap into that energy, cut that soul part free, cleanse that energy, and return it to the person. Ideally, the point of it all is for everyone to know how to deal with this and how to do this for themselves. But it's not going to happen all at once. So ideally, I'm saying. But us healer, that's what we do. That's exactly what we do. We know where the energy got stuck, so we clean it out using different methods and modalities, and we bring it back to the present. That's where we start getting a feeling of, oh, I feel home again. I feel whole. I feel myself again. You know, I don't have that pinch in my stomach. I don't have that knot in my throat. I don't feel suffocated anymore. Okay? So that's what healing is. And that, if you're on a twin flame path, there are many events like that to be healed. From this lifetime, you start with this lifetime, healing your past breakups, healing your getting fired, healing your losing friends, your family issues. And then you move on to deeper levels in past lives, in your family, generations, your grandparents, great-grandparents have given you in the lineage, family lineage, the DNA, the energy that is in the DNA. They have given you things to heal. And we are the chosen one to break that up and to change the pattern. So it's an honor to do so, but it does come with great responsibilities. It takes a lot of courage to do so. It takes a lot of strength to do so. It takes a lot of energy. That's the least I could say. That's the least I could say. Just a quick example. My grandparents were divorced. I'm 40 years old. So that was pretty unusual at the time for grandparents to be divorced, right? I had that to heal in my DNA, in my cells. I remember clearly a few years ago, on a very beautiful afternoon, I had this pain coming up. I had this negative emotion coming up and suffocating me. So I sat down and I said, okay, show me what I need to know right now or what I need to release or heal right now. And that's what came up. I saw it. I saw the pain that my grandmother went through because of my grandfather. And I saw the pain that he was in because he was in this situation, because he was acting a certain way. And then basically, to make it short, I was feeling everyone's pain, right? Including my own, including my father's, including my uncle's. And that's how you clear it, is by just acknowledging that it's there, feeling it. You don't have to feel it for 4 hours. Just feeling it a few seconds is enough. You feel it for a few seconds and you say, okay, I now release it. I clean it. I forgive. Forgiveness is the bigger part of a healing process. I forgive the situation, the people. I forgive myself, because you may feel a little bit guilty just because you were carrying those energies. You know, it's very possible to feel guilty. I forgive myself, and then I replace those energies with, and you replace it with something positive. So unconditional love, understanding, support, strength, you know, you state any positive energy to replace it with. And then you say, I recall my energy back. That's it. There's a bit more to it than that, but that's a basic technique that can be used. If you don't recall your energy back, you get stuck there again and you cannot move forward. And it feels like you're carrying a 35 pounds backpack with you all the time. That's what it means to heal. That's what it means to keep your energy clear. That's what it means to have a soul fragmentation. And that's what we don't talk about enough. I haven't seen a lot of videos on that, and I will probably make one on soul fragmentation, just an entire video on this, because it's very interesting. It's a process on its own. And then how do you recall it? How do you make sure that you don't get stuck again? All of these needs to be addressed, and it takes some time to master this and to understand the dynamics behind. That's why it may feel like you've been healing and releasing a lot, and then you feel boom, like you're stopped or like you're regressing. Know that you're not. It's just that there's something else coming up. And someone on a spiritual path or the twin flame path, we are the chosen one to break those cycles up, because we can do it, because we have all the strength and all the love to do it and to embody it. That's the most important ingredient, the love. If you have love, but you feel you have not enough strength, it doesn't matter. Love will conquer all. If you feel like you have all the strength in the world, but you have no love, it's not going to work. It's not going to work. The results are not going to be authentic. They're not going to be clean. It takes love in everything. And that's what healing is all about. It's love. So perhaps you've had a reading or two that said, you're a healer. Did you know that you're a healer? That's what it means. And you have to do it on yourself first in order to be able to help other people. Because otherwise, you're going to be faced with clients that have issues that you won't be able to help with. And that's not being in an unconditional state or level. If you have done your fair share of healing on yourself, then you're good. You can help other people. And you don't get to decide, we don't get to decide when we're ready to do that. We will know, plain and simple, when it's time to step into it and start helping other people. It's just a deep knowing that we have inside. We know that we're ready. We know it's time. You know, when we get up in the morning and today's the day that I'm whatever, you know, cleaning my car, cleaning my house, this and that. It's the same kind of feeling. You wake up one morning and you just know it's time. It's my time to be in service. And then you start doing it, and you have to start at one point. And you allow yourself to graduate each level and it never stops. There's always more to learn, more to know about, more to be curious about. That's the beauty of it. Because if we have this curious, oh, I'm curious about this, it's a beautiful approach to it, as opposed to, oh, I have to do this and learn my next level. No. See it as you will always have something to do. You'll never be bored because you will always have that to go to when you're bored, when you have no one around to talk to, or that everyone's busy around. You'll always have that to go to. Okay, I'm sorry. I feel I'm way off topic because I'm off the energy update, and it's been 40 minutes. So I'm really sorry if that was I didn't expect that, but that's what came up, you know? So I guess it needed to come out, and I'm sure it's going to resonate with a lot of people. I sure hope it does. If you have any questions on that, or if you would like to book a reading with me, you can do so using my Facebook page at Indigo Girls Readings, or using my email indigogirl555@gmail.com. Just release all expectations for now. Allow the energies to come through. Allow yourself to heal. And until the next time, enjoy this beautiful weekend.